Max Verstappen currently sits 7th in the 2026 Drivers' Championship, 78 points behind George Russell, who occupies P2 with 154 points. This gap is not just a number on a leaderboard. It is the trigger point for a performance clause buried inside Verstappen's Red Bull contract, one that allows him to leave the team if he remains below P2 at the summer break. With only 50 points left on the table across the final 2 races before that break, mathematics has already settled the matter. The clause is now live, and Verstappen cannot climb into the top 2 before the deadline arrives. The story's emotional turning point came at Silverstone, during the British Grand Prix. On lap 48, while running in P3 and chasing a podium finish, Verstappen lost control of his car at Stowe Corner and spun into the gravel. The cause was mechanical, not driver error. Red Bull's rear wing, nicknamed the Macarena by rivals, flattens in straight-line mode along the hangar straight to maximize top speed. Before the braking zone into Stowe, the wing must snap back into its high downforce position. This time, it didn't. The delayed reattachment robbed Verstappen of rear grip at the exact moment he turned into the corner, sending his RB22 into the gravel trap and ending his race with 6 laps remaining. This was not an isolated incident. A nearly identical failure had struck Verstappen just a week earlier, during qualifying for the Austrian Grand Prix, when the same wing mechanism failed to close in time and pitched him off track in Q3. Asked to compare the 2 incidents, Verstappen offered a blunt technical assessment, like Austria, but different fault, let's say it like that, but the same outcome. He later described the situation in stronger terms, calling the wing super dangerous and adding that he had been fortunate to escape serious injury both times. Red Bull team principal Laurent Mekies did not dispute the driver's frustration. Max is right not to be happy. It is very unpleasant for drivers to be let down by the car in high-speed corners in 2 consecutive races, Mekies said following the race. He confirmed that telemetry data showed the wing had failed to close properly, though he stopped short of confirming the root cause was identical to the Austrian failure. The Macarena design was originally pioneered by Ferrari, a detail credited to Ferrari team principal Frédéric Vasseur, who coined the nickname during pre-season testing. Both Red Bull and Ferrari currently run versions of this wing, and the FIA is reportedly now in discussions with both teams to evaluate whether the design meets required safety standards, with outcomes ranging from approval to a full ban still on the table. While the wing failure dominated headlines from Silverstone, a separate and arguably more consequential story has been building in the background: Verstappen's future beyond Red Bull. The single strongest piece of evidence pointing toward a departure is not a rumor but a confirmed transfer. Gianpiero Lambiase, Verstappen's race engineer since his promotion to Red Bull in 2016, has already signed to join McLaren, where he is expected to take up a senior racing role from 2028. Lambiase has been one of the closest and most trusted figures in Verstappen's career, and his departure has done more to fuel speculation than any single quote from a team boss. Adding to that picture, reports have surfaced of a June meeting between Verstappen's management camp and McLaren CEO Zak Brown, held in the paddock around the Austrian Grand Prix weekend. Separately, Red Bull's senior shareholders reportedly summoned Verstappen to the team's Austrian headquarters that same month, where Red Bull attempted to buy Verstappen out of his exit clause entirely, offering a reported multi-million euro sum to remove the option from his contract. Verstappen refused the offer, a decision reported to have frustrated Red Bull's ownership, including shareholder Mark Mateschitz. The rumored outcome circulating in the paddock is a straight swap, Verstappen moving to McLaren alongside Lando Norris, while Oscar Piastri heads the other way to fill the vacant Red Bull seat. Publicly, both sides have denied any active deal. Zak Brown has repeatedly dismissed the speculation as rumors, stating at the British Grand Prix press conference, "I'm very happy with my 2 racing drivers, Lando and Oscar." He has also said discussions with Verstappen's camp didn't go anywhere, insisting he has got 2 drivers in the seats and nothing further to offer. Verstappen, when asked directly whether there was any truth to the McLaren speculation, declined to confirm or deny it. "I'm not going to involve myself in that," he told reporters. "If there's something new or something that changes, you will hear it from me, not from someone else writing it." That response, notably, is not a denial. It leaves the door open rather than closing it, a pattern paddock observers have noted repeatedly through the summer. Part of what makes McLaren the dominant theory is the elimination of every other realistic option. A move to Mercedes now appears closed off. George Russell is nearing an automatic contract extension, with Mercedes reportedly exercising the option in his deal after the Spanish Grand Prix to secure his seat through 2027. Ferrari is similarly locked down. Charles Leclerc agreed a new multi-year deal ahead of the 2026 Monaco Grand Prix, reportedly extending his stay at Ferrari beyond 2028, while Lewis Hamilton's contract extension clause has also been triggered, keeping him at Ferrari into at least 2027, and by some reports 2028. With Mercedes and Ferrari both effectively unavailable, McLaren becomes the only front-running team left standing, narrowing the field almost by process of elimination. Inside the McLaren garage itself, the implications of a potential Verstappen arrival are significant. Lando Norris, the reigning world champion, has addressed the speculation directly and expressed confidence in facing Verstappen as a teammate. "I do believe I can beat any driver," Norris said when asked whether he could hold his own against Verstappen in equal machinery. "I think what makes Max so incredible is how he is over the course of a season. Every single weekend, performing to the level that he does, is what's impressive." Norris has also downplayed the seriousness of the situation publicly, noting that a lot of drivers want to come to McLaren and calling the talk not a serious thing for now. Behind that composed messaging, however, the internal shift such a move would create is substantial. Oscar Piastri is widely considered the driver most likely to be displaced if Verstappen signs, despite McLaren's repeated public insistence that both his and Norris's seats remain secure. None of this needs to resolve immediately. Verstappen is not contractually required to declare his decision until October. The summer break, then, marks only the point at which his exit clause becomes activated, not the moment a final decision gets made. The clock has started. What Verstappen does with the time before October remains, for now, entirely his own.